So again, we're creating our About the Author block, and so we need information about the author. If we look at our fields and we see what we have to add, I'm going to go ahead and click Add here, and we search for example, user, you see that we don't have a lot of information that we can add about the user. In order to pull in that information and be able to use the user fields, we're going to have to create a relationship. I'm going to exit out of the overlay here, and over here under Advanced, let's go ahead and add our relationship to the user. I'm going to click Add, and let's do a search for user. Okay, so this first item is content author. Now that sounds right. Let's go ahead and check that and click Apply All Displays. For the identifier, we'll go ahead and call it author, but I'm going to capitalize the A just for cleanliness sake. And even though it won't make a difference in what we're doing here, I'm going to check require this relationship, because ultimately we're not going to want to pull in information from a blog entry that doesn't have an author established. So this describes what we're looking for, even though, like I said, it won't ultimately change the results. I'm going to click Apply All Displays. And now if we go to Fields and click Add, and we type in user, you see we have a whole lot more in terms of options. If we scroll down, you can see we have the name, that's the username. Let's go ahead and check that and add that for now, and then we'll come back for the other fields. I'll click Apply All Displays. The relationship here is going to be author. That's the only relationship we have to work with. And because this field is only associated with the author, we have to specify the relationship. Before, when we created a relationship between the two node types, there was a lot of data that was common between the two nodes. For example, they both had node IDs, they both had titles, they both had bodies. And so we could set a relationship or not. In this case, the username is only associated with the author, so it's already selected our relationship for us. We're going to uncheck Create a Label because we don't want to add the label as well as the name. We'll uncheck Link this field to its user as well. Now, if we look at the display in our wireframes, I'm going to jump back over to it, you see that the text is a little bit bigger than the normal text. We're going to be using a heading here. Now, the About the Author heading is going to be a heading 2 tag. All of the block titles by default are heading 2, and we'll go ahead and stick with that. That's a good syntax structure. So for this next level of heading, it makes sense to use a heading 3 tag. And if we jump back to the browser in our field settings here, we can actually set this to display as a heading 3 tag by using style settings. Now we're going to come back and look at how to do the same thing using rewrite results in a little bit, because this gives us even more freedom to modify the output. Style settings gives us a few basic settings. So when we check that, we next want to check Customize Field HTML, and we get to select the HTML element to wrap around this content. And we're going to select H3 for now. And let's click Apply All Displays. I'll scroll down to the bottom, and you see we now have the title of the content, which we'll remove eventually, and the name of the author. Great.